Welcome back to Car Updater, and today we are diving into another legendary missile that shaped modern aerial combat, the Sparrow AIM-7. While it may not have the same reputation for range as the Phoenix, the Sparrow is one of the most important and widely used air-to-air missiles in history. Its story stretches across decades, multiple conflicts, and countless fighter aircraft. The AIM-7 Sparrow was truly a backbone of Western air forces during the Cold War and beyond. The Sparrow first entered service in the 1950s and went through many improvements and versions over the years. What made it revolutionary at the time was its use of radar guidance. Unlike earlier infrared missiles that required a direct lock on the target's heat signature, the Sparrow was a semi-active radar homing missile. That meant the launching aircraft's radar would illuminate the target, and the missile would home in on that reflected radar energy. This allowed pilots to strike enemy aircraft at much longer ranges compared to earlier short-range missiles. Early versions of the Sparrow were not always reliable, but continuous development eventually transformed it into a highly effective weapon. By the Vietnam War, the AIM-7 was a key part of U.S. Air Force and Navy air combat. However, combat experience showed both strengths and weaknesses. Pilots appreciated the missile's ability to hit targets beyond visual range, but the technology of the time was not always perfect. Failures and misses were common, especially in the chaotic environment of dogfights. The missile required the launching aircraft to keep radar lock on the enemy until impact, which sometimes made the pilot vulnerable to counterattacks. Despite those challenges, the Sparrow evolved. The AIM-7 became one of the most widely used versions during the late 1960s and 1970s. Later variants like the AIM-7M introduced better electronics, improved resistance to countermeasures, and greater accuracy. The AIM-7M became the standard medium-range missile for NATO forces throughout the 1980s and 1990s. Its reputation grew stronger in conflicts like the Gulf War, where it achieved far higher success rates compared to Vietnam. In fact, the Sparrow accounted for the majority of U.S. air-to-air kills during Operation Desert Storm, proving its effectiveness when paired with modern radar and tactics. The missile itself was medium-sized, weighing around 500 pounds, with a range of roughly 20 to 30 miles depending on conditions. It traveled at speeds over Mach 2.5 and carried a powerful warhead capable of destroying large enemy aircraft. Many iconic fighter jets relied on the Sparrow, including the F-4 Phantom, F-15 Eagle, F-16 Fighting Falcon, F/A-18 Hornet, and even some European aircraft that were part of NATO alliances. Its widespread use across so many platforms made it one of the most recognized air-to-air missiles ever produced. The Sparrow was also more than just an American weapon. It was exported to many allied nations.